Hey everybody, it's Ross again with Lagniappe Theatre. We are here to do our final makeup tutorial for Halloween for the Rapides Parish Library. This is Miss Tinley, and today Miss Tinley, say hey.
Hey.
There you go. Miss Tinley is going to be turned into a zombie. I mean, she already is a zombie, but she's going to be turned into one with makeup today as well, right? You like to eat brains, right? Yes. Okay, good. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get started with the zombie. There's several different ways you can do a zombie. You can do a zombie in what would be considered like the dead, fleshy look, which is like a gray, which you can have a gray to do that with. They actually make a zombie gray. I can't find my zombie gray, but this is a gray. All right. You can also do it in what would be sort of like that putrid green color. This is the green right here. We're going to do a little bit of a mixture for you today. So those are some of the colors you'll need. A gray, a green. You can get a regular green, but putrid green would be better. So when you go look, if they have some zombie makeup, you can find that. We're gonna need some black for the outlining. We'll need a little bit of white to put in some different places, okay? And if you wanna do like blood or anything like that, you will need some red, okay? But we're not gonna probably do too much blood on her today. I also have here something that is very useful you can get from some companies that we will list that you can find. This is my color effects wheel for Master Bruises. This has several different colors that you can use, especially like these blue, deep blues and everything like that. And for our zombies, we're gonna go many different directions you can go with zombies. Now, I always think, like when I think zombies is like Night of the Living Dead type zombies, not really like World War Z or anything like that, but I like to think more of like that old school zombie look. So that's what we're gonna do on Tinley Day. One that's not super scary, but one that will be very, very effective. Okay, now you'll also need, like I always say, you'll need your brushes. You will need your number 12 fat brush, your number 4 stubby brush with still the longer bristles. You'll need your fine little detail brush. We will actually use this one today. And you will also need your sash brush. This is the one that's cut at an angle. This allows you to do different little detail work that has to be like swirls and everything. This is definitely a makeup job that you're gonna want some powder set because this is a full face job. So you're gonna want your blush brush or just your big fat powder brush right here. And you're also going to want your translucent powder. And you're also gonna want your finishing spray. Now you've seen in some of the other ones, the finishing spray, I do remind everybody that it does, when you put the first application on, you have to make sure you get it nice and dry because it does burn the eyes a little bit, but it is the best way of keeping your makeup from running if you're gonna be outdoors or anything else. We use this on stage all the time. It works really, really well. Now, if you wanna get really in-depth, which we're not gonna do today, you can also go find some fake skin, like fake wax skin, or you can also use something called liquid latex. Liquid latex is a lot of fun. You can build it up in certain areas to make like patchy skin, kind of like the way a zombie skin might be coming off and things like that. We're gonna do more today of what would be considered just sort of like a PG rated zombie, okay? Nothing scary, all right? All right, Tinley, you ready to get started? First things first, especially with a full face one, always make sure that you apply some moisturizer to the skin. The moisturizer is your barrier from this getting too deep into the pores. Now, this makeup that I'm using is professional grade hypoallergenic makeup, and it is very, very good, but you always wanna have just that little bit, especially if you have sensitive skin. Everyone you saw today has very, very fair skin, so you wanna make sure you put that on. But even if you don't have fair skin, you should always put some moisturizer on, especially for a full face application. Doesn't have to be too thick, just has to be enough just to give us a nice base to start off with. Now, we're gonna go ahead and start with our colors here. Now, I'm gonna start, because I wanna make her kind of an interesting looking zombie, I'm going to start with our green color here. I'm gonna make her that putrid green kind of zombie. Not quite a Frankenstein, because we're gonna come back and we're gonna do some other colors. Also, I forgot to mention, you will also need your makeup wedges. My favorite thing to use is a makeup wedge. If you don't have access to brushes or anything else, you can do almost everything with a makeup wedge if you use it. You got corners, you got flat sides. It's one of my favorite tools when applying character makeup is the makeup wedge. So you can get those at any local drugstore. You can get them at a large department store. You can get them at any store that sells any kind of cosmetic, because they are so useful. If you like to use other things like the egg-shaped style, or something like a flat, you can, but you just don't get all the options that you get with a nice wedge. So we're gonna start off with a green. We're gonna basically green her up. This green I'm actually using right now, I think is actually called Ogre Green. But we're gonna start with that, and we're gonna use this because then I don't have to tone it down. And it's already kind of that putrid, dying skin kind of color. So we're gonna start here. All right, you ready? I'm gonna start here on the forehead. Now the great thing about this is I just get to do the entire face in this. So we're just gonna start with this, making her look really, really green, all right? All right. All right. Close your eye. Very good. All right, you can see she's already turning that nice green color. Watch your fingers. Okay, you're gonna have to not touch your face for me while we're working, okay? All right. Now you notice that the thing with green is, what's so cool about green color is that green is actually one of the main colors in our skin. People don't seem to realize that, which is also why you'll notice it's not really covering as well, like the freckles and everything like that, but that's okay. That's why we're gonna cut it in a second with some gray and give it some shadowing and some highlights and some things like that. Because whenever you put a full face of makeup on somebody, you take all the other color highlights out of their face, so you have to basically add them back in with all of your shading and everything like that. Now, turn right here for me. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera a little bit more towards Tinley so she is right in the middle of it. Turn your face for me here. All right, just using the base part of that, that sponge. Like I said, that's the best part, you know? We're just kind of getting the makeup on there to start off with, all right? Keep your lips. I wanna get your lips in this too. There you go. You can get some green on those. All right. All the way to the side here. There you go. All right. All right, we've gone all the way around the face now. Now, we basically just use this to kind of cover, all right? We're gonna have to come back now and we're gonna put it on a little bit thicker. Instead of spreading it like I was before just to get that base, now I'm gonna blot. So I'm just gonna come all the way around her face and I'm gonna dab. And this is gonna give us that nice full coverage now that we don't have. We were just getting like a skim on her face before. All right, now close your eye, and I want you to do this. What I tell everybody is I want you to tell them to close their eye and stretch their eyelid out while it's closed. That way you can get all the way into all those little nooks and crannies. Now, if you had an egg-shaped or teardrop-shaped sponge, these are the places where that would actually come in handy, but you can really get it in there with the wedge as long as you just make sure that you stretch the skin in the right directions. Okay, now you're gonna see that nice green face. Now, if I was gonna do a full zombie, I'd get in the ears and I'd get down the neck, but for our application today, we're not gonna go that far, okay? So we did that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create some shading around her face. So now this big green face that she has, here, look at me real quick, turn your face that way. I missed the spot where I blotched it on too thick. And see, if you see a place where it's too thick like that, just go ahead and fix it real quickly, all right? Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna gray her up now a little bit, try to make her look not so bright green. We're gonna take a little bit of this gray here, all right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow, we wanna make, zombies are dead, so they tend to be sunken in and have a whole lot of other things going on. So what we're gonna do is suck in your face like a fish for me real quick, like this. So we're gonna follow right here along the cheekbone. We're gonna start right here and go cut right under the cheekbone with some of this shading. Now, if you wanted to make your own, the best way to do it is take some of that makeup and put it on the back of your hand, and you can make a darker green that would work for this. But for our purposes, I wanna go with this gray because I wanna kind of gray her out a little bit so she's not so alive looking. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna really stand out on her, and whenever she's going down the street, especially at night, you'll really see this shading. So what I wanted to do right now is I want you just to kind of, squeeze it in just like that. And I'm gonna follow the cheekbone and I'm gonna just basically pull down with this color right here, just like this, okay? This gray. Then I'm gonna take the flat side of it, the flat bottom, and I'm gonna pull that down. And I'm just gonna kind of just blend that into this green. And what it's gonna do is, it's gonna make her cheeks look sunken in because we're following the cheekbone. It's gonna give her more of that sunken in look of like a dead person. Suck them in one more time. And I'm gonna really thicken it up right in this area right here. And then I'm gonna come to this other side again, and I'm gonna pull down with the clean side of the sponge into the green. So you'll see what's happening is, no, just make a normal face. You'll see like when I turn her face this way, she's gonna have a regular, and then as she turns this way, it starts to make her look a little more sunken in. We're gonna take the bottom of the sponge where the green still is. We're gonna get a little touch more green and suck in for me one more time. And we're just gonna follow that right down at the bottom. And what that's gonna do is gonna take some of that gray, a little bit of that gray out of there. Now you notice that it's making her look a little more, giving her face a little more dimension. So we're gonna take that gray, just like we did before. I'm gonna dip it and get a little bit more. I'm gonna do the other side. Suck in for me. Following again, you're just gonna follow that cheekbone line all the way down to the mouth. And that's what gives us sort of this sunken in look. All right, and I'm just gonna pull that down just like that. And then I'm gonna take this clean side of the sponge and I'm gonna pull that into that green. All right, we need a little more green. I put a little bit too much gray on there, so I'm just gonna clean it up with a little more green. Just right on top. And there we go. And now we're blending nicely. So now look at the camera. Now suck in your cheeks real quick. Now you see how we have this, all of a sudden, this nice little cheekbone thing going on. So what I'm gonna do now is, I did the gray, so now I'm going to take my big brush right here. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that gray, and this is where the brush blending really works really well. Brush blending helps really well when you wanna do lines. So give me that cheekbone again. I'm gonna define this line right here. A little bit more like so. I'm gonna take the clean side of the brush and I'm just gonna gently pull that down once again. Now, you see how that cheekbone right here is starting to look more, she's gotten more cheeky. She's getting a little bit more of a look like it's sinking in. So I'm gonna do a little bit more of this. I'm gonna get a little bit more on this one. I'll go to the other side now, suck in for me. I'm gonna follow that, suck in a little bit tighter for me. There you go. I'm gonna follow that cheekbone all the way down. And actually, I wanna kind of follow the shape of her actual natural face. Then I'm gonna take the clean side and I'm gonna pull that down. This is gonna give her the illusion of a sunken in face because the other parts are brighter than the gray. So look at it real quick, look at yourself in the camera. Good. Now I'm gonna take this right here, where to put it? Take my graying one and I'm just gonna gray out a little bit of all of her green so it's just not so bright. But you'll still have this kind of putrid, dead, rotting flesh kind of look that all girls want to have, right? All right, now I'm gonna just kind of mix that in. And this doesn't have to be perfect. This can actually be a little bit blotchy because it'll make it look a little bit more like stuff is kind of dying in different directions. All right. Now, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take a little bit of this misty violet here, all right? And I'm gonna give her some sunken in eyes, like she hasn't slept in a few days. I'm gonna take some of this, little bit of this purple. Look up for me. And I'm just gonna follow the natural lines of her face. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that in there, just like this. I'm gonna put a little bit on this side. And that's gonna blend in with this green really well. And then I'm gonna take the clean side of the sponge and I'm gonna look up again for me. And I'm just gonna pull this down and away from her eye. And I'm gonna follow the natural turn of her eye, okay? Same thing over here. Now you see that kind of look like zombies always have. They always have this dark look under their eyes. So I want to make that a little bit darker. I'm gonna put a little bit more on her, actually. Put a little bit more on this side. Good. And I'll pull that again. Pull it this way. And following. You never want to pull down on the eye if you can help it. You want to pull it to the side a little bit. That's making her look right there. And then I'm actually going to take a very, very small amount of black. And I'm going to do the same thing over where we just did that section right there. Because black covers everything. So you want to be very careful with your black. You don't want to use a whole lot of it. Look up for me again. I'll put a little bit of black in there just to darken that up a little bit more, and a little bit of black on this side. All right. I'm gonna smooth that out. Nice. There we go. You see that kind of dead look she's starting to get now? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to take a little piece of this black as well, and I'm gonna find, come real close to the camera for me, Tinley. Now, I want you to squint for me. Squint for me like this. Now, she's really young, so it's gonna be hard to do that, but she has little bitty lines that form right here. And we're gonna fill in those lines with a little bit of black, okay? I'm gonna use the sash brush because it gives me the finest line and I have a lot of control over it when I do it. Okay, now, squint for me real good, and I'm just gonna follow these lines right under her eye all the way out. And I'm gonna find every little one that I can get. It's real tight squint. And I'm gonna make a fake one right here that doesn't exist. All right, I'm gonna come over here and do the same thing. Just gonna follow that line right there under her eye. And what this is gonna do is kind of give her that circles under the eyes look. She's super tired and hadn't slept in days. We're gonna take our green sponge that we already put green on. Okay, close your eye, but not real gently. And I'm just gonna slowly pat these lines with this green. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna mix with those other colors that we already did. And just give her this really dark kind of sleepy look. Now you see, now she looks like she hadn't slept in days. All right, we've got our gray we were just working with. See, I put it down somewhere. Oh well, wherever it is now, it's fine. All right, I'm gonna gray her out just a little bit up here, more of a streak of gray. This looks a little more on the dead side. Here we go. Get that lip. Mix that in with that. Get the nose. And you just kind of gently turn your head towards me. Just kind of gently blending the different colors. And I'm gonna take some of this green and I'm gonna pull it up into this. All right, now the lips. We're gonna start with, we're gonna get our big brush like this, because these lips do not have to be like any kind of special detail work needs to go into them. We just need to get them nice and covered. We're gonna start with this gray here. We're gonna gray these lips out a little bit. Kind of that dead look, because we want to get rid of all the reds and everything, because zombies are dead, so they have no blood pumping through their body. You'll see how this really helps rub those together. Yep, get a little bit of that green in there. Rub them together again. Good. Now put your lip kind of like this, kind of push it down. I want to get up a little bit higher so I can make sure I get all of that. It'll wipe off usually as they move their mouths and everything. Okay, let me see. Good. Very nice. Coming along really well right now. She's got that real look of being kind of dead and everything. Now, we're gonna take our sash brush again with a little bit of that black that's still on there. And we're gonna very gently do just some things to make her look like she's got some weird stuff going on. Like we're gonna give her a couple little black spots. Because her skin is dying in places. And we might even put a little bit in here, just like follow the line of the lip. And it'll make it look a little bit more like she's kind of aging before her time. Gives that kind of dead look there. Right above the eye. Now we want the eyebrows to stand out, so we're gonna take it very gently with the black, and we're just gonna find where her natural eyebrow is, And we're just gonna put a little bit of this black. Here, turn your head for me this way. Just gonna follow the line of her natural eyebrow so that it stands out, and the makeup will actually find the hair and just kind of pull it out, as you can see. Now she's got an eyebrow. And go on the same side here, and just gently find the hair and just let the hair pick up what you can with the black. That'll make it stand out there too. So now she's got some eyebrows. Now we're gonna try and bring her nose out a little bit. Some of the gray. Get a little bit of that gray on the nose. Make her look a little more sunken. And we're gonna pull that to the side like this. Now it makes her look like she's kind of dying all over the place, right? Now, again on the other side, we're gonna put a couple of these black kind of streaks. Just find some places for them. You don't have to be too particular about what you do here. All right. Now, we want to bring some of her features out. All right. Just making her look more deadish as we do it. All right. Now we're going to take some of this gray with the sashed brush. We're going to bring her nose out a little bit. So we're just going to follow, turn your head this way. We're going to follow the natural line. This is actually called the nasolabial fold right here. We're going to follow that just like this, that gray. And it's gonna bring her nose out like it wasn't there before. Now it makes it kind of stand out, so it makes the cheeks suck in for me a little bit. A little bit right there. And we're gonna just kind of take the brush, just gonna fill in one more time. Excuse me, that sunken area. Suck in again. And we're just gonna pull that down once again. Do it on the other side. Suck in for me. Put a little more gray right here. All right. All right, and then we're gonna take our black detail brush, our sash brush again. Just a couple more little black dots to make it look like we're dying a little bit more. Right up in here. You see that these lines aren't exactly how you like them. You just come in and you fill them in again. And it makes them look like the skin is just sort of aging and dying. There we go. Get some on the chin here. Bring out your little cleft in your chin. There we go. A little bit of more black on the lips as it has been starting to wear off. You can actually stretch that beyond this line of the lip to make the mouth look like it's kind of the skin is kind of stretching closed. And what I like to do when I get my finished part, I just like to take the brush and just kind of start kind of taking it very gently and just sort of dabbing it in to make some lines. Can you like make your eyebrows go up real high? And then we can also fill in these lines as well. The more lines we have, the more the skin looks like it's being stretched. All right, and let's just say that she was a zombie that has been, you know, eating some brains, because that's what zombies do, right? She's hungry, she's gotta eat. So what we're just gonna do is, we're just gonna apply some of our fake blood right here, right there. I'm gonna make a nice little drip, nice thick drip. She's been eating some people because she's hungry, you know. Gotta eat. It's not like they got a brain restaurant anywhere nearby. So you just kind of let that drip down right in there. You know, your zombie could have had some injuries and, you know, just kind of add a little bit to it. There you go. Again, this is a fake blood you can just get from any kind of party store. It usually kind of looks like you can get very different qualities of this. You can actually get one that kind of looks like scabs and stuff as well. So she just came from eating some people, You know, they were trying to get her. So just kind of put it all over. And there we have it, folks. We now have a Tinley zombie who's going to go and eat all of her brother's brains. Right? How do you feel?
Good.
Good? Feel hungry? All right, good. All right, everybody. Well, this was our last look for the Rapides Parish Library. I hope you learned some stuff. Remember, you can do all this stuff. You don't have to have professional makeup or professional stuff. Every one of these brushes that you see right here came from a local craft store. The makeup, on the other hand, did come from there, but you can get black. Black is easy to come by. White is easy to come by. Green is easy to come by. You can find all of these kinds of different things. She's trying to attack people off screen here. So, Tinley, tell everybody at home bye. Give them a little zombie, like a little zombie sigh. Ooh. There we go. Perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great Halloween, and I hope these helped you.